Why do I do dagger here? Well, I mean, for starters, it's good exercise, but frankly, it's also an opportunity to hit people in a legitimately, I don't know, forceful fashion. It's something I always did when I was a kid. I did it with a friend quite a bit, and unfortunately, we used really hard materials. So I guess it's something that I've always done, except in a bit of a more group-oriented type deal, and it's safer. There's a sense of community and belonging. Like when you actually sort of earn your place in the group, it does take some time. Sometimes you actually have to, learn how to fight, or at the very least, be a team player. I don't know, I guess it's just a good way to do something that's almost kind of childlike, but with adults.
Shield bash first, ask questions later.
I used to play D&D, and I didn't really do like the actual LARPing. In fact, I don't really do the LARPing aspect of this, like no real role-playing. It's really just a sport for me. And so the physicality of it is sort of a bigger deal to me than the actual imagination part, I guess. I mean, I dress up and everything because you have to for the events, but it's just a good way to sort of exercise, even a little bit the imagination. Well, the first thing that I did was, for my fighting style, was I picked up Florentine because it felt like the most, not necessarily the most natural, but just the coolest, basically. It's what I wanted to do. Florentine is wielding two swords at the same time, whether or not it's, two weapons at the same time in each hand. And basically, it's kind of frowned upon as a fighting style because it's not effective. Most people do sword and board, sword and shield. It leaves you, it's a lot more high risk, high reward sometimes. If you get behind a line, it's very useful, but otherwise, it's considered almost like a play style. But that's the reason I did it, is because it's difficult, and it's like, I was basically told that I would have to practice twice as hard, unless I was doing the sword and board thing. So I figured I'd become good at that, and I don't know, get some respect that way, I guess. As for how effective it is now, I've definitely learned ways to get around shields and actually sort of use the advantages of the dual wielding. Well, I'm a mobile developer. I work on iOS apps, and I'm also an adjunct teacher here at Champlain. And I really enjoy the adjunct work. It's really interesting getting to work with younger people and potential recruits, basically, which I still have yet to do, to reveal to the class that I do dagger here and that I want them to come hit me, basically. Although I'm pretty sure I can tease them into that if I give them terrible grades. My actual work, the programming thing, is, it's fun. I actually went to school for game design and game programming, so I'm lucky enough to be able to do that with my actual work. It's only been recent, but the whole adjunct thing, it's definitely been an experience learning how to teach, and so that kind of is beginning to translate here as I'm becoming more and more of a veteran. Like, that allows me to take more new people and sort of apply the teaching methods that I've used for my class in Dagger here. I can't really say that mobile development has contributed to Dagger here. In fact, I might even say that my mobile development work has contributed to me being here, just because it's sitting down all day, and here I actually get to move around and have fun. It's not sort of a aggressive, like I have to get this out of my system kind of thing, but it is very much a bit freeing, I suppose. If you're sort of cooped up all day and you are a nerd and you don't really have anything physical to do and you want to sort of whack people with foam swords, then yeah, this is where you want to be.
Hello. In DAG, I'm known as Ren, but my real name is Shoshana. It's a little bit like a dream come true, where you have a combination of both exercise, but you can also experiment with various different things that was pretty commonplace in the past. Different types of sword fighting with two swords or a spear, and it just gives you a chance to experience what it might have been like, having to deal with weapons like that and interactions. The past was I mean, it was horrible, and but people, they survived it and they dealt with the problems and challenges, and they had certain skill sets that were just lost. And DAG is a way to relatively safely kind of explore, what it might have been like. And it's also fun because it kind of brings in the fantasy element of like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and all that kind of thing. So it's nostalgia sort of in both directions. You have to look at the tools that you have, look what you have to work with, and then try to make it, try to figure out ways of using what you have in order to solve a problem. Or if you just simply need to get something, whether it's a new computer system or a new training system in order to solve a particular problem, or will that just simply not be necessary, and you can solve the problem with the items and tools they have at hand. It's more of a philosophy, I think, because what I do for a living is it's a desk job, so it's not even, physically active. I work in healthcare research, so it's very, you sit at a desk and you work with numbers all day. And it's just one totally different set of, a way of thinking and interacting with the world. Here, you use your body, you use your mind, but you're doing it in totally different ways. It's very, it's refreshing and it's different, and it's, I really enjoy it. I'm about 5'2" on a good day, and I fight guys that are well over 6 feet. And, the way that they fight is going to be completely different from how I have to fight because I'm so much shorter than they are. I'm quite short, so I don't have much of a reach. So what I try to do generally is I try to sniper people. Like if two guys are fighting, I try to swoop in and get one of them from the back. Depending on which game, we're playing. Other times, if it's really just one-on-one, I use my shield. And I just try to block as much of their moving parts as I can and just try to hit whatever I can reach. But I generally have to get up really close to them fairly quickly because my reach is so limited. But we play so many different games that depending on which game we're playing kind of helps me, dictate, how I'm going to try to fight. I think it's easy to sort of like latch on to gender because it's sort of you look at a person, the first thing, male or female that you recognize. But when you have a sword and a shield, whether you're male or female is I think it's a less of a factor as to your height, your weight, how strong you are, whether you have a bad knee. If you're a fast runner or if you're not so fast, or I think just what you can do in working around your prior injuries and other things, your limitations, I think is a stronger factor than gender. It doesn't bother me. We're all friends here. We all try to as much as we can not hurt another person, no matter who we're fighting. And I find the differences to be intriguing because the guys are all different heights and widths and shapes, and like some guys are like super fit and other guys have a little bit of pudge, but they're still all really good fighters. And it's fascinating seeing such a diverse landscape of physiques, and we're all playing the same sport. We all play it differently based on what we can do physically. And it's interesting seeing how people interact, differently, but yet in a way for the same kind of experience. It's fun.